All right. Welcome back to another Elevated Marketing podcast, where we simplify complicated digital marketing topics to help your business grow. So, my name is Jennifer Denny, and with me I have
Brenna Jackson. Hello, hello.
Miss Lovely Brenda Jackson. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that's probably top of mind for a lot of people. Budgets are small right now when it comes to marketing. And so, we're going to talk about how to prioritize your marketing channels when you have a small budget. Or maybe your budget has been cut back, or maybe you're just starting off, and so you just don't have a large budget yet. We all define our budgets a little bit differently. So, all right. So let's do our fun and quirky question. And today I want to know what's your favorite movie soundtrack.
That's a tough question. The After series, it was written as a book and then they made it into movies. I love the soundtracks from all 5 of those movies. I think they're really
What was it called?
After.
I've never heard of it.
It's kind of cheesy, but I love it.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with the Rocky soundtrack. Eye of the Tiger. I love me some Rocky. He has my favorite quote. It's not about how many times you get hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep going forward. So I think sometimes people look at, well, I'm down, I got hit. And I'm like, great. So did everybody else. Get up.
Yep.
A little bit more hardcore. Okay, so let's talk about, a budget conscious marketing list and, trying to, as we like to say, maximize your value from low cost efforts. Everybody's budget is a little bit different, so how you would define low cost is going to be a little bit different. So let's talk about that. And I'm going to go get a drink of water and let you go ahead and start so that I can stop coughing.
Okay. Well, first, before you're going into where you'll be putting out any content or anything like that, you need to identify your most profitable audience. That will also include like where this audience is hanging out at. So when it comes to like creating your budget, before you even have a budget, really you do need to figure out like, okay, where am I going to be marketing? And that definitely will kind of help define some of that.
And, sometimes that's a little bit of guesswork. So sometimes you don't have quite the data yet and you haven't tried, but,
Yeah.
You're looking for the person who is most likely to buy your product or service. And you're trying to define this into a buyer's persona so that, when you're creating all your marketing materials, you're speaking to that audience. It's very well that there can be multiple people that can use your product or service, but when you can speak like directly to them, then you're going to get more bang out of your buck because they feel like, hey, you're talking to me.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like kind of along with that comes with like setting your goals and realistic goals when it comes to that. I mean, like you said, a small budget or a limited budget is going to be different for everyone. But when it comes to maybe lowering that or starting out smaller, having clear goals that are realistic and are within your reach is very important. Setting kind of high or unreasonable expectations is just going to be discouraging, probably more than anything.
Yeah. And often people are like, well, how do I know what goals to set? And, there's lots of articles out there that can kind of give you like benchmarks for the industry. But I think you should understand what your own benchmarks are and where you are starting so that you can build on top of that and improvement is better than nothing. I also did want to mention, like, back on, identifying that profitable audience. I talked about you yourself maybe coming up with what you think might be the lowest audience, but
Mhm.
your Google Analytics and even, like, some of your social media platforms like Facebook Insights can give you some of that information on where you got the most engagement out of. Now,
Mhm.
you might not have anything yet, so you might not see it out of there, but it's going to be a combination of those for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And
That kind
speaking
of
of,
Yeah, yeah, I was just about to say that kinda goes into different tools that you can leverage, and a lot of these are free.
yeah,
You've talked about Google Analytics, Facebook Insights. Along with that list is Google Search Console. You can
yeah.
use Canva, which we love.
Yes, there's a free
MailChimp.
version, there's
Mm,
MailChimp.
yeah.
A lot of the softwares have free, like,
Mhm.
and you don't need to buy the actual program. You
Yep.
got to have some pretty large budgets to work with some of these really large programs. And let's be honest, they're not all that, like,
Mhm.
perfect. Like,
Yeah,
they give you more information, but sometimes I think when you have those tools, you, like, over rely on it and you forget about, like, your marketing intuition.
for sure, yeah. Well, and I think too working with what you have is what's gonna help you get by. That sounds a little I don't
No,
know,
you
but
gotta be frugal.
yeah,
Gosh, even
yeah,
when I have money, I am super frugal. Like, I will eat
yeah.
peanut butter for a week, and then I'll buy, like, an expensive vacation or what I think is expensive. But
Yeah.
I know where my time needs to be spent.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Focusing on organic social media channels, it is definitely cost effective from the essence that you don't have to pay to be on the platform necessarily.
Mhm.
But regular posting, as we talked about on the previous, helps build a brand, which makes that more cost effective, and you can build that following and foster that community. It's not free though. Like, it still takes time and effort to
Yeah.
create all that, and everybody's time and money, time is money. And in
Mhm.
fact, to me, it's more important. Time is more important than money.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
say it. I'll say it again.
Well, and I think another thing is too, by focusing and putting some focus on organic social media, in the future, maybe when you are ready to run ads, you're gonna have some data there that's gonna help you along with that. Um, and overall, kind of building up and establishing your pages will also help when it comes to running paid social ads. That way, people who do engage with your ads in the future, if they come across your page, it's not going to be blank. It'll
Yeah.
be pretty well established, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah, and you will probably have noticed that we do have an order here
Mhm.
of the things that we think you should focus on first. And we're talking about focusing on organic social media channels, but you got to have that content creation. So I think we actually put that one out of order. And that
Mhm.
goes down more at the bottom is the promotion of it, but you have to create the content first. And I think there's several ways to create that content.
Mhm.
One of them we've talked about several times is just, and it's not easy, but creating that user generated content that could be as easily as asking people for a review, asking people to whip out their phone
Mhm.
and, or you're on a Zoom call and hitting record and asking people what they think about working with you. It doesn't need to be overly, um, out there.
Yes, for sure. Content is the driver. We've said a million times. It really does drive pretty much everything. It,
But you have to have content,
yeah,
so you have to create it. Um,
yeah.
mm,
Well, and I think with content creation, and that could be blog posts, that could be infographics, that could be maybe emails, that could be social media posts. there's all types of formats when it comes to content.
Video.
Video, yeah, how can I forget?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, low cost video content. I mean, video content creators are going to hate me out there because it still takes time and effort, but the overly produced content is not, people want that authentic. They want to connect with you. They want to know that you're real. Using smartphones and things like that, it does pretty well.
Yeah.
There's even resources to get some of that online without like doing it in person. So,
Mhm.
and they go further. That type of
Yeah.
content will get in front of more people, which makes it more valuable with a small budget.
Yep, yep, it's far more organic feeling because it is. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm. What else are you thinking? What is so we've built
Yeah.
all this content. What should you do with the content before? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well,
Kind of force there.
part of this too is investing the time into SEO. And so a lot of this is gonna have to do with your content
Yeah,
on your website, whether it be structure pages, blog posts.
yeah.
You really do need to pay attention to SEO efforts. It is a long-term game, so
That
investing the time when you begin is definitely going to help you out later on.
and
Um,
looking at like not just Google, but these
yeah.
LLMs like ChatGPT
Mhm.
and Perplexity and Microsoft. You need to create content that's going to also work for them as well, so that you can be efficient with a small budget and kill two birds with one stone. I think I just read earlier today that ChatGPT took over Bing on usage, which
Wow.
is fascinating to me. Although Bing is still a very small amount in comparison to Google, but in a short amount of time, within 2 years, it took over.
Hmm. That is an interesting
Hmm.
data point.
Okay, so you've created all this content.
Mhm.
What should you do as far as using that content?
Mhm. Repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. Blast this content wherever it makes sense. Don't and it needs to be probably more than once where you're promoting this content, which
Oh
is
yeah.
fine to do. You can promote it in different ways. And when I say promote, that still can be organically, whether
Yeah.
that's on social media, email marketing.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Well, so like you have one topic, and that one topic could be a graphic, it
Mhm.
could be audio, it could be video, and it could be written, all the same topic.
Yep.
That's one way to repurpose. And then another way to repurpose is that you have a blog post, but you pull out different things and repost the content. Another way to repurpose is just to use it on different like channels.
Mhm.
That's a great way to be efficient with a smaller budget.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of content out there, and so I feel like we can say we're pretty firm believers in creating a quality piece of content is
We're
very
content
important.
creating machines over here.
Yes, yes, but just making sure you have the value there, and
Yeah,
yeah.
your favorite.
My favorite, email marketing. So, kind of building up an email list and making sure you're leveraging that in efficient and strategic ways. Building up a list it's it can be tricky. It can be difficult, and it can sometimes be a long-term thing as well. But definitely necessary. Email is not dead. We need email.
It's the one place where you own the audience. You don't own your
Absolutely.
audience in any other place. So, I think you have to do that.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
So, to the order, we talked about organic social media,
Hmm.
and posting out on there and being efficient and posting on multiple platforms. But know which platform is your number one and spend your most effort there. But sometimes it's just checking a box in order to add it to a different platform and get in front of more people. There's a lot you can do though with a low spend social media ads. It's the only way you can kind of be very targeted and get in front of the right demographics. I can come up with a plan. You just need to change your expectations in line with that plan if you have a smaller budget.
Mhm.
You don't have as much data to work with, and it's not going to be as optimized as much, which makes it sound like it's not efficient, but it is efficient because instead of just putting it out there and not knowing if it's in front of your audience, an ad would definitely make sure that you're in front of it.
Yep. Along with that, with ads, you retargeting ads. So, I
Hmm.
mean, if you're in front of people who you know have interacted with your ads before,
Yeah,
then retargeting them and remarketing to them is definitely probably going to be efficient with your budget.
yeah, yeah. Your Google My Business.
Mhm.
So that is definitely an easy way to create. There's all kinds of things you can add to that, but just asking for reviews, and that becomes content for your social media. But creating local content on your website, like case studies of people that you've maybe helped in different areas, could really help you with your local SEO. That's going to be efficient as well.
Mhm. Local SEO can definitely go a long way. And I think too, when you kind of pair that up with the way you're promoting it, whether it's social media, email marketing, having
Yeah,
that local feel on some of that content is going to go a long way with your
yeah.
audience, just more at home.
I would definitely say too, like collaborating with other small businesses. So I work with a lot of other small businesses too. And, there's some small businesses that, maybe I'm helping them out. I'm not asking for anything in return because I know if I help enough people get what they want, I will eventually get what I want. Also cross promotion, doubling like exposure, like that's a
Mhm.
real budget friendly thing to do as well.
Yeah. And I can say too, like from my perspective on that, there's a lot to be learned from other small
Oh
businesses.
yeah, oh yeah.
Um, and it's fascinating and it's fun more than anything.
You can always learn something from everyone you
Oh,
meet.
yeah,
It doesn't matter. Good
definitely.
or bad, you're gonna learn things. So I don't not interact with people that might be my competition because sometimes I can learn what to do and what not to
Mhm.
do.
Absolutely.
In my own personal opinion, doesn't make it right or wrong. So, we talked about using those tools, but track everything, look at the metrics, use those free tools to make sure that, you are getting somewhere with what you have. Focus on the no cost initiatives, no cost in terms of, not additional to promote it, like building your email lists and SEO and organic social media. Those things are very low cost. And then, next you're going to work on maybe adding some ads in. That's going to be a little bit more, and then finally in the end, like scaling up, across multiple places and investing more time and energy into it.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
We all start somewhere. They're all building blocks that help one another, and
yeah, and I always tell people, go look at my very first YouTube video. It looks like crap. I have it there for a reason that, we can always continuously grow. So,
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
right. Well, if you enjoyed today's show, certainly hit that like and subscribe on YouTube. Or if you're on LinkedIn, maybe leave us a comment. And we definitely like likes and shares. Appreciate that as well. And then if you're over on podcast, I think I said that already. Maybe not. I can't remember. Leave a review so other people can do it. All right. Well, take care, everyone.